In today's episode, I'll be giving my review, reaction, and recap of the 5th episode in the 2nd season of House of the Dragon. Can't find a title for this episode anywhere as I just watched it. It's 10:20 right now, so whatever this ends up being called, that's the episode we're going to be talking about. So let's jump right into episode 5. Do something, man! People are questioning you! Shut up. Shut up. Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the dub cast. This week in House of the Dragon was a little bit of a cool down episode, and I already had a friend out there texting me about how this was the biggest letdown episode ever after last week. Obviously, last week was an important episode and filled with all the dragons fighting, and was one of the highly regarded Game of Thrones episodes of all time. So we can't just go a million for a million here. Like, there's going to be slower episodes. Things are going to calm down a little bit. Things are going to relax a little bit. I personally like this episode. I maybe am just too positive in life. Maybe I like too many things. Maybe I don't give anything bad reviews or anything, but I thought this episode was decent. A lot of groundwork being laid, a lot of setup. I think next week's gonna be pretty good. What'd you guys think of this episode? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? I liked it. So with that being said, let's jump right into this week. So last week we left off with Rhaenys falling from her dragon to her ultimate death. Unfortunately, R.I.P. Rhaenys, and we see Corley's and Rhaenyra's instant reactions, and both of them are just really sad. Obviously, Rhaenys was a very important person to both of them, so just an unfortunate scene that we have to watch, but a necessary one to understand the gravity of her loss. R.I.P. to Rhaena, man. Just what can you say? Seems like it's really, throughout the episode, this loss has really shaken most of Team Black. They're definitely a little emotional about it, definitely feeling some type of way, and understandably so. This woman was awesome, and yeah, we love you, Rhaena. R.I.P. So moving on the other side of the aisle, we have Team Green, and their play here is to parade dead mealies through the crowd and through the common folk, which is Rhaenys' dragon. So first of all, I think this is a horrible idea. When I saw the preview for this, I think people were agreeing with me on next week's episode. Bro, what are we doing here? First of all, Aegon's not even going to be able to be seen by people probably for at least the next couple episodes. I don't know how long that is in Game of Thrones time, but he's clearly injured from this, so why would you say he slayed it when that's not even true? It was clearly Aemond. There's a million people that saw Aemond slay the dragon, so I don't know what that sort of lie does for you. I mean, I get it on like a surface level, but you gotta think about this. And yeah, the common folk, they agree with me, but for a different reason. One of them mentions that parading a dragon like this, or having a dead dragon, is a black omen. Not good, man. They were not appreciative of this. Just shows that this war is going to be brutal, and as we see throughout the episode, this tension in King's Landing is just ramping up and up and up, and these common folk really want to get out of there and just scram, because I think it starts off with this parade. It's just like, what are we doing? I don't know. I don't even know who made this call, because there was no regent king, no regent queen. So whoever's idea that was, maybe Kristen Cole, I don't want to assume, but he was in the front with Gwaine, and he was like, Gwaine's like, what are we doing? We didn't really win. And Cole's like, we got a victory. So maybe this was a Cole idea, so shocker, Cole, it's a bad idea. But I don't know. Just thought this parade was a really bad idea, and paid attention to detail, saw that the rat catchers were still up on the wall, which comes up later. Take them down, bro. They've been up there for like 3 weeks. Let's take them down. These people have died. We saw maggots eating them alive. I think they get the message. Aegon is reminding me of Joffrey in the way that the common people are just going to instantly rebel against him, because he's just not thinking about them. Aegon shows a little more care than Joffrey did, but I don't know, bro. Like, these rat catchers are up there for weeks getting eaten by fucking maggots and shit. not the wave, bro. Take him down. And this will come up again later, so we'll talk about that when it does. So, Aegon, we get this dramatic scene of him entering in on this wagon slash carrier, the tomb thing. And he's still alive, but he's barely breathing. Sorry. But he has to be examined by the clergy or whatever they're called. They all take a look at him. Allison's like, is he going to live? They're like, you got to get the fuck out of here. We got to operate. So shout out to our first responders out there. But this is just an ugly scene. Looks like half of his face is burnt. Probably the side that was facing Aemond. But also the clothes are just seared in his body. And that's one of the worst things I can imagine, bro. I just was rewatching some old Prison Break scenes with Michael Scofield when he had to sit back against the pipe. Just hate burns, and especially this guy's got like half his fucking outfit burned in him now, so that's gonna be really painful for him. Although it doesn't seem like he's out a lot of pain. I don't even know if he's conscious at this point. Maybe he's in like a coma or something. Obviously we'll see a little bit later what happens, but as of right now, he's alive but barely breathing. Status unknown, but he is alive, breathing, and they're working on him. So right away, Aemond walks in, sees his brother on the bed, is like, what's the succession plan? Who's going to take over now? He's not even like, is he doing okay? Blah, blah, blah. And I think Allison is slowly picking up on the idea of what actually happened at Rook's Rest, where Aemond just Dracarys the shit out of his own brother, and obviously Rhaenys, but just... yeah, and a betrayal, a family betrayal that the army should have seen down below, but no one really wants to talk about it. Probably war stories, whatever. It seems like Cole knew it happened, but didn't want to say. Aemond just tipping his hand too much here. It's pretty obvious what he wants to be accomplished and how he's going to go about that. He's just way up front and obvious about it, and obviously he doesn't give a shit about his brother, so he's like, what's the plan here? And we'll circle back to that in a second. So, back in Team Black, we have Rhaenyra talking to her small council, and this guy Alfred, again, is questioning her and just being a dick and a bitch. So, Rhaenyra's getting a little fire in her. She's firing right back. Respect, that's right. You gotta show these people who's boss. Enough is enough with these small council people. I'm annoyed with them. They're just, you pledge your loyalty to Rhaenyra, but you don't do shit about it. You just sit there and bitch, like, let's go, keep it real, Rhaenyra, so respect for that. So we have the phrase, man, an odd people. Jacaerys on his own is going to come up with this scheme to go and get them, to get passage, to get to Harrenhal and get this key to the war type thing. A little hard to recount, but if you guys watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. He confides in Baela, and I didn't think this was a good idea because we've come to not trust the Frey family in Game of Thrones lore. So we'll talk about this mission once we circle back. But Jacaerys going against his mom, although at the end of the episode she doesn't end up respecting him for it. I'm not sure this was the play. But he feels like he's being left out. He feels like he's not allowed to go to war and fight and attack. So good for him. He's going to come up with his own plan, scheme, get it done. So, yeah, him and Baela make that plan. Well, not really. He's just like, I'm leaving. And Baela's like, okay, are you sure that's a good idea? And he's like, yeah, I'm leaving. So, okay. Now we go to Harrenhal, where we got our first Daemon scene of the episode, where did he just light up House Bracken or did he not kill them? He gives them the option to bend the knee or fire. They choose fire. But I think he burned them and then maybe there's just more people left in the town. But finally, man, Daemon's doing some shit. Still has some demons this episode, but finally he's on the prowl, left the castle, actually outside trying to make moves and do everything. He's talking to the Blackwoods, the leader of the Blackwoods, and he's like, you should do your worst to try and convince the Brackens to come over to our side. And yeah, this comes up later in the episode, but I don't know if this is the best idea. He wants people who are loyal to him, and he wants people who will rather die than turn loyalty, but those people are already like that. So what are you trying to accomplish by pulling those people over to your side? They're not going to be easily converted, as we see later on. It's just like, this was a really dumb plan by Daemon, and he's in his own little demon world where he's just doing all these dumbass things, and I don't know, man. I'm not vibing with Daemon. So Rhaenyra back in Team Black headquarters, Dragonstone, confides in the White Worm, and I just still can't trust White Worm. I think I mentioned it last week. She sells out for a stack of anything. So I'm not loving this relationship that Rhaenyra is consistently confiding more and more into the White Worm. I just have a bad feeling about it. I think it's going to end well, but the White Worm does bring up some good logic. She's like, you need to get the people on your side. They probably hate Aegon and hate the king because the blockade, and there's no bread, and there's rat catchers on the wall, and they're parading dragons to the street, which is all true, and they're probably like, they need something. So Rhaenyra is going to send one of her errand girls, I think her name is Alinda or Belinda, to King's Landing. They let her in, and we'll see what her scheme is. I'm not really sure what that plan was. She goes to an old friend's place. We'll have to find out what that is. Didn't really get the full picture there, so excited to see where that leads to next week. Back to Daemon. He's having a weird ass sex dream, which took up like 2 minutes too long, but it's Game of Thrones, so there's gonna be some weird shit, so fine. The voice, or the woman's telling him he's made for the crown, and was this his mom? What are we doing? Was it? I don't recognize the girl, so maybe I'll get killed for this, but just a weird scene, bro. As I mentioned before, Daemon's just had these constant demons, and something snapped with him, where he's just seeing things now and in a bad state of mind, and I don't know, bro. He needs help. He needs a therapist or something. But he's not going to get it. He's going to keep continuing on his conquest. So, but we see the reason why he's going all apeshit and going conquest mode, because these voices in his head are telling him he's made for the crown, and he's the one that deserves to be sitting there on the throne, not Rhaenyra. And later on, we'll see his motives and stuff, but this is just contributing to it. It's clear that he thinks he should have been the one to take the crown from Viserys, and he's not going to relent that. So, yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on moving forward. Will his demons finally leave? Well, there's still another demon we have to talk about later, but I don't know. Sus, dream, not needed scene. Well, I guess everything's needed. It's Game of Thrones, blah, 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 but I don't know. Didn't love the scene. So he's going to talk to the Lord of Harrenhal, and turns out Larry Strong just took all the money with him to King's Landing, shocker. But Daemon's like, don't worry, I'm going to personally guarantee the funds. He's like, the Lord is like, shouldn't we go to Rhaenyra? And he's like, no, I got you. So once again, acting as if he's the main leader and just saying he has everything covered when he doesn't. So I'm wondering if Daemon's going to be in over his head, or he's actually going to be able to pull out a rabbit out of his ass. I don't know. I lean towards the latter, but I don't know what happens. So we'll see. Back to Team Green. So we have their small council, and they need to pick a regent king/queen to take over for Aegon while he is injured. Alicent volunteers herself. She's done it before when Viserys was injured, but that was during a time of peace. And basically every single person on the small council is like, yeah, we need Aemond. It comes down to Larry's and Cole at the end, and Larry's is like, we can't prop up a queen after we're coming after them for propping up a queen. So that makes sense. Gotta say, Larry's is a weird motherfucker, and I don't like him, but I respect him. Meanwhile, Cole, obviously, he's going to just turn his back on Alicent and say that he wants Aemond because Aemond's his boy, and they drink and scheme war till like 4 a.m. So always pick your boys over your nightly sex, whatever. And Alicent grills him later for this, but yeah, bros over hoes, man. Respect to Cole. So the small council is all in agreement that Aemond should be king, and instantly he just walks up to the chair, sits down, takes over. Shocker. He's ready for it. This is what he fucking wanted. So here you go, Aemond. Here's your big chance. Don't blow it. Um, and yeah. Oh, one thing I actually didn't want to mention before was Larry's is potentially prone to the idea of Cole and Allison. He kind of gives this importance to Cole in the vote. So by doing that, I don't know if he was just insinuating that their relationship, or because he knew the relationship, or he was just saying that because Cole is the hand of the king and speaks for him. Actually, I don't know. But something to keep an eye on moving forward. Obviously, Larry's knew about the pregnancy tea and all that shit last episode. So Larry's is on to everyone. Master of Whispers. He's going to have some major shit cooking in the latter half of the season. Aemond's just talking war. We get the scene of Allison just like slowly realizing that she's caked in shit. And yeah, sorry girl, but this is the life you chose because you misinterpreted fucking one sentence. So sorry, man. Sorry you had a moment where you're blowing out of life. It's just like you did this, so we have to live with it, man. And you're a nice girl, but not to play. You did a wrong thing. You did a bad thing. So I don't feel bad for you, although the stock is rising a little bit. So, anyways, Aemon's first order is to cut down the rat catchers, which respect. Finally, those people get to be buried properly and don't have to be fucking rotting on the wall of the castle. So respect to Aemond. Thank you, bro, for cutting down the rat catchers. I don't have to see them anymore. So now cycling down to this a couple minutes later, after the small council meeting, we have Cole and Allison talking, and Cole is very not himself. He's down in the dumps. He's down bad. It's either we get down bad Cole or like hung ho, heave ho Cole, where he's like war, and then the bad part of him is just like, oh, I got rejected by a girl and blah 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 blah. But he seems very dejected. I think he knows what happened with Aemond and Aegon. He saw Aemond take his sword out to kill Aegon at the end of the Rook's Rest battle, so I think he knows, he's clued in on what's happening. I think he's depressed about it. He says to Allison, we have given war to the dragons, which I think will just define the rest of this series probably. I think men are going to be important, but dragons are going to be the like triple, quadruple multiplier. It's going to get ugly with the dragons, and just a dragon versus like 10,000 men, unless they have one of those scorpion things that Euron Greyjoy had, then you're fucked. So yeah, this is going to be interesting where Cole heads from here. Assuming he's still hand of the king. I don't know. But he's doesn't seem to be too happy about how things have happened with the dragons being involved, but he schemed it though, so I don't know. I'm a little confused on his motives here, but he's overall in a depressed mood. Anyways, we go back to King's Landing and update from a couple episodes ago when I said that common folk family, we didn't know who they were. Apparently he was the one who spoke to Aegon in the castle about one of the pleas in like the second episode, so my bad on that one. This guy is a consistent character. He's got the sick daughter with the wife who's like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And he's like, we should stay, but then they end up trying to leave. And I see all these people piling through the door and trying to leave, and I'm like, this is not gonna end well, because Aemond wants to lock everyone in so they aren't allowed to leave because they want to leave because their conditions are shit, and they're going to go tell people that their conditions are shit. So he's like, we're locking the gates. And I thought that something more was going to happen at this protest. Seemed like people were able to start climbing over the walls, but they are announcing that Aemond is the regent prince / king, and they're like, what? Aemond? So they already don't like Aemond, and this is not going to be good. But this guy's family, his daughter looks like a ghost. She's literally gray in the face, so we need some doctors over there, man. That is not going to last long. I'm predicting a tragic end for that family, man, because common folk in Game of Thrones do not do well. So now we follow Jacaerys on his journey to Tullyland, and he is able to angle a deal where he's going to get passage and bent knees for giving them Harrenhal. Harrenhal does need a lord because Strong left, and they have like that kid and then the Jimmy Carter guy who like wakes up but doesn't wake up. So I was wondering if is he doing too much, giving too much, but it's war. You got to just make promises. Just do the Stark way. Just promise everything, go back on it, and then die in a wedding. No, I'm just kidding. I think Jacaerys will be okay for now, but he's out there making money moves, sales rep, selling the bag, making deals. Respect. Yeah. So back to Harrenhal, which I'm really starting to like. Like Daemon was my favorite character, but this shit's going downhill fast. This Harrenhal storyline. So he's talking to this girl, and I don't really like her. She seems like she has bad shamaniques, bad voodoos, bad shamans, everything. I don't like her vibe, bro. I don't like her jib. I don't like the jib of her cut, man. I'm not fucking with it. I don't like it. Something's wrong with her. Maybe she's a witch or something, but she just seems weird. But she's able to actually get Daemon to talk a lot. He reveals he wants to take King's Landing, and also she reveals that he never met his mother. So we'll go piece by piece here. So him wanting to take King's Landing, shocker. He's on his own now and wants to just do it by himself, and then him and Rhaenyra are going to rule together. And he gets mad at the Lord for calling him King Consort when he's actually just king. And it's, I mean, he gets mad at the Lord for saying King Consort when he wants to be called just king, but he actually is King Consort. So now this whole thing is blown up. Daemon and Rhaenyra are done on Daemon's eyes. Like, he wants to do this shit solo, and I'm not fucking with it. You fucking groomed Rhaenyra. You fucking backed her claim. You gave up your claim to your brother, bro. Come on, man. Rein it in here. Let's work as a team here. We can't have fucking like 5 people split off doing different things. And then second part, he never met his mother. I don't know the full backstory of this. I think maybe Viserys did because he was a little older, but seems like a fuck thing that never have met your mother in Game of Thrones. So maybe he needs some comfort from that. That's why he's having weird dreams and shit. Live your best life, Daemon. Get your shit together, bro. So back to Baela, who was given the Hand of the King / Queen marker to give to Corlys, and he's in the dumps. He's questioning everything that's happened with Rhaenyra. He's never really been a true fan, so he's kind of like, hey, what's going on here? The death of my wife has obviously put everything in perspective. But she's able to rally him with some nice words and respect for Baela. This was a good Baela episode. She just kind of does what needs to be done. So he leaves the conversation wanting to make her heir of Driftmark, but she says, I am fire and blood, and you need sea and salt, so I can't. Corlys is now clocked in, ready to go. So respect. Can't wait to see more Corlys. I feel like we haven't got enough of him throughout this whole series so far. Can't wait to see what else he brings. And as for the heir, I think it's going to be Alyn. Big detail that I missed. Apparently Alyn is one of Corlys' bastards that Rhaenys even knew about and was being mad respectful to him. So shout out to Rhaenys for being respectful about Bastard when Catelyn Stark was being a dick about Jon Snow, and that wasn't even technically Ned's bastard. Won't spoil that fully, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So Rhaenys turns out just being a good person, and Alyn is possibly or probably the bastard of Corlys. So shout out Alyn. That's why we keep saying him. Back in Small Council land in Team Black, Rhaenyra is going to say, enough with you, Alfred. Go talk to Daemon. Go fucking figure out what's happening in Harrenhal. I have no idea what's happening, and we need to figure out what Daemon's updates are. And my opinion on this, I'm sure it's going to go well. They showed a shot of them riding over with some spooky music, so I'm sure Daemon's just going to kill them on sight or get in an argument with them. I'm sure something's going to happen where Alfred's not going to be long, but Alfred says that he'll always have loyalty to Rhaenyra no matter what, so respect for him for doing that, even though he disagrees with everything she basically says. So we'll see what happens with Alfred and Daemon next week. So Daemon in Harrenhal, our last scene here with him, he fucked up. Him talking to the Blackwoods to do their worst and fuck up the House Bracken. The Riverlords have all come to collect due and just say, you're a piece of shit, why'd you do this? That was really unnecessary, bro. And he's like, maybe I did fuck up. He starts seeing his old wife again, starts getting the demons again. Cool shot of him. They all leave. They say, we're not going to whatever. And cool shot of him leading his head on the fire pit. And then we cut to Rhaenyra also leading her hand on the fire pit. So that was a cool one. Back in Team Greenland, we have Aemond. He's going to be staring at the throne, possibly dreaming about when he's going to be atop it. And then Helena appears out of nowhere and says, was it worth the price? Now, Helena is known to have visions, so I think she knows something's going to happen maybe. Also good to see her care for Aegon, a marriage she was forced into. She's worried about him when he comes back, and that was our two Helenas of the episode. But you guys know I love Helena, so we'll see where this happens, or what happens here with this. I've seen a lot of edits of Helena and Aemond marriage, so I'm interested to see if that goes anywhere. And we flash to Aegon, who's still in bed. He's able to speak. He says mommy, but he's heavily injured. He's down bad. Still half burnt. Still needs a lot of work done. So interested to see what Aegon's capabilities are once he's fully cured to the best they can do. What will his kingship look like once that happens? I'm not really sure what happens when they have a injured, I guess if they're so injured like Viserys and they have a regent. So maybe Aemond will just rule for infinity. So back to Team Black. This is our last scene of this episode. We unlock a new scheme from Jacaerys and Rhaenyra talking. Turns out Rhaenyra is proud of Jacaerys for going on his own and accomplishing this mission. And they need to find dragon riders. And they have two big dragons laying right underneath them, and they need to find dragon riders. And Jacaerys is like, hey, why don't we go back into our family history and find like some people that probably have our blood and probably like can ride these dragons. And Rhaenyra's like, you know what, that's actually not a bad idea. They don't want to send Rhaena to do it again because she almost lost her life doing it. And my head instantly clicked to the guy in the tavern who was like, I'm the cousin of the king or whatever. That guy's gonna be riding a fucking dragon. I'm telling you right now. That guy will be riding one of those two dragons, because why would they show us that guy if not? So now the dots are connecting. That tavern guy is going to be riding either Vermithor or Snow something. No, it's not Snow. I'm being an idiot. Don't Vermithor and the other one. So tavern guy, tavern uncle / nephew / king / brother / whatever. That guy is going to become important again. They need to find him, which I'm assuming they'll do either next week or the week after. So that'll wrap up this episode. Slower episode, a lot of setup, a lot of Game of Thrones. No one's really playing for the throne because it's two sides of war, but both sides making moves. We know we're progressing along. We can't have a dragon war every week, so I like this episode. What you guys think? I already asked you, but I'm asking again because thank you for staying along for the whole episode. Quick 2 points about the preview next week. Looks like there's going to be some chaos in King's Landing. Something happens where Alicent's like a little shocked, but we'll see what that is. And it looks like a good episode, and I think it's going to be Team Black centric. Looks like a lot of things happening with Daemon and Rhaenyra, these dragons. So we're training dragons, how to train a dragon. Let's go. So with that wrapped up, I'll give my favorite and least favorite. Kind of a chiller episode, so I didn't have a strong favorite. I think my favorite was Jacaerys, able to swindle a deal, went scam school on them, making them promises they probably can't keep, so I'll give respect to that for Jacaerys. Least favorite, I had one, but then I forgot it. Least favorite, Daemon, bro. My favorite character of the series. I'm giving you least favorite. Be fucking rational, stop being a dickhead. Your claim is done. You gave up your claim yourself like 4 times. Enough is enough, Daemon. Stop having demons, get a good night's sleep. Enough with this shit, bro. So that'll wrap up Game of Thrones. What I'm like tweaking now. House of the Dragon season 2 episode 5. House of the Dragon is wrapped. So next a couple episodes. Last week of Acolyte, Tuesday, should have that live Tuesday night, live from the cut. And then After that, down the road, I'm going to rank Star Wars shows. I need to watch Mandalorian Season 3. Once I do that, we'll rank the Star Wars shows. And then besides that, I'll be back for House of the Dragon next week. Also doing NBA recap, off-season recap, giving each team a grade. So I'll be doing that with a special guest coming up soon, hopefully this week. And so, as always, thank you guys for sticking along with the videos, sticking along on Spotify if you listen there. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Subscribe if you want more content. So appreciate you guys, and be easy.